Hey, good morning, everybody. I'm very, very glad you're here. I'm Rita Hickman. There we go. And I'm a body mind expert and a shiatsu massage therapist. And what I do is I use these tools and skills of Asian medicine and the meridians and um, how our cell receptors work and our digestion works and things about heart and how the heart understands the world around us and how they're connected and have their own intelligence and I give women experiences that help them break away from narcissistic patterns. You know, the relationship they're in right now is just the latest version of people and relationships that have probably dogged the women that I work with. They're successful, they've been successful in many outer areas of their life, usually because when you're a girl who goes through trauma, you develop a certain toughness, a certain inner ability to motivate yourself. There's a part of you that knows that life is so much bigger than this, that you don't have to be trapped in the way that you feel, and that you may feel trapped, but you know instinctively that there's a way out because you've gotten out before. So I work with women when they're ready to go beyond the therapy, they're ready to go beyond the self help, and they really want to stop feeling so triggered and reactionary. They want to learn how to stand up to themselves, even in the most emotionally wrenching situation, and how to guide a conversation, how to guide an experience for themselves so that things turn out okay. We use hostage negotiation techniques and communication skills. We use tactical empathy. We use our own deep intuition and our own insight about the world in order to navigate around the really scary things that a narcissist can trigger past abuse for you or for your in your lineage, down the line of your grandparents or great great grandparents. So today we're talking about when a narcissist does this, you need to pause. So, one of the biggest rabbit holes of being in a narcissistic relationship is the narcissist is in control of most of the conversations. They take you off guard. They use things that you would never use. They attack things randomly based on their own fears and insecurities rather than on reality. They purposely manipulate and gaslight and pick fights in order to keep an upper hand. And many times they're doing this from a sense of overwhelm, fatigue, or their own anxieties. When their system doesn't feel up to the task, they need to release this energy in some way, and it comes out in very, very bad skills and tools, coping tools for themselves. I don't think a lot of narcissists or people who have high narcissism tendencies are necessarily bad people. They just they really don't understand the consequences of their reactions, and they don't know how to change it or fix it. And their issues and pain is big enough that garden variety support isn't enough. Just generally being nice or supportive isn't enough in this relationship. So if you're an empath in this relationship, then you're in a you're in a healing you're in a transformational relationship for the time being. It's forcing you to become bigger than you. And one of the ways you start walking away from these things is by not being taken off guard. So whenever a narcissist comes in to your space and takes you off guard, I want you to pause. Now, why are you pausing? You're pausing because when you react, you're coming from a place of being in your amygdala. It really means that you're in fight or flight. It means you can lift cars if you needed to. You could save children, from the bottom of wells. You could follow Lassie to find where Jimmy got lost. You have these superhuman strengths. But the problem is the focus is on survival, period. How am I going to survive this? If you're in a survival state, you're not in an open-minded, creative state of mind. You know that. You know how it feels. You're reacting. You're triggered. You're not present. Your body is flooding with adrenaline or anxiety or rage, and you're desperately trying to keep it under control so that you don't end up beat up or out on the street or in a really worse place than you ever thought you'd be. You don't even know what that might be. When you are triggered, when a narcissist takes you off guard and surprises you in a negative emotional way, you need to develop the muscle of pause. What the pause does is it gives you space and it gives you time to get yourself back under control, to get yourself back into a balanced perspective. Now, when we're in a place of fight or flight, when we're, me or you, and it's going to be me, when we're in that sort of a place, we don't make good decisions. We don't make good decisions based on our own well-being, based on the big picture. We make decisions based on how do I survive this very scary predator. So when you pause, it allows you to get yourself back balanced. Sometimes the pause can last days, weeks, couple months, because what you're doing in that pause is you're, let's say, suspending time for a little bit. You're gathering information. You're being curious about yourself, about why you're reacting. You're being curious about the narcissist. Why do they respond this way? You're being curious about the situation, what happened. And maybe you can get a little bit obsessive about it. I totally get that. Trying to figure out which is the right way, which is the right way. Generally speaking, there are the same sorts of ways and reasons that people cope. The real nitty-gritty specifics are unique, but there is a pattern. You know, one of the things that lit up a light bulb in my head was when I started to learn that women who had had some sort of childhood sex abuse had the same sorts of issues in life. So they went through life and they had almost like twins, right? You know, you talk to twins who were separated at birth and they're both bartenders at a place called O'Malley's, and married to someone named June. It's weird. And it's the same thing with women who end up in narcissistic relationships, and the same thing with people who have more narcissistic tendencies. It seems like it's a great mystery because you feel shrouded in secrecy, in being isolated and thinking you're the only one and being ashamed, very ashamed that you're allowing yourself to do this, especially if you're successful in other areas of your life, especially if you're an engineer or an artist or an entrepreneur or a teacher or a really good manager of your home or a world traveler. All of these things, you've shown in the past that you're strong, you can stand up for yourself. But in this situation, every single time it gets you, every single time. So there are patterns to behavior, patterns to thought, patterns to how to manage this stuff. And in that pause is where you gather the information you need so you can make good decisions, so that you can keep yourself from being hijacked by your own system and by their system. We get lost in the dynamic of a relationship and walking on eggshells and how we feel. But when you start to pause, make sure you get your needs met, that you come back to level, that you are caring for yourself and nurturing yourself and getting the things that you need, whether it be more fiber or vegetables, whether it means more water or better quality water, whether it means a community that you can be authentic with, whether it's experiences that show you you're stronger than you thought you were. When you start getting your needs met, the stuff that you were supposed to get as a kid that you probably didn't, when that starts to happen, you become strong and grounded and centered. And you're able to look at the situation and lead people through it instead of look at the situation and feel completely victimized by it. There's a gap that needs to be bridged, and the gap is from the scariest moment in your life to the narcissist relationship and the woman that you are right now. There's a gap in that area of your life, and we need to develop that and give you the skills and the tools that you were supposed to learn but you didn't learn, which is why you end up feeling trapped and stuck in this crazy making relationship. There are specific ways that you can evolve, and you can find your voice, and you can learn how to negotiate, and you can step into a place where you have a peaceful life instead of a chaotic, conflicted, angry life. There's absolutely a path, and you just didn't realize it existed, and you didn't know which one was the right one. And in reality, there's a little bit of everything. Okay? So, the next time a narcissist takes you off guard, pause. Put yourself in a little bit of stasis mode of, oh, isn't this interesting? I wonder what's going to happen. If it's physically violent, that's one thing. If you're going to be re-traumatized by their words or their behavior, that's something else. That's another really big problem. But if it's something that you normally would react or fight back, you normally would sob or release in some way or run away. This time, I just want you to take a breath and pause. Gather information. Share it with other people. Get good advice. Get accurate, good insight and support. And when you do that, things start to change. Okay? So I hope you have a great rest of your day. Share this video with women who are in toxic and narcissistic relationships because there's help. I help women with a free searchable library. I help women with a very affordable group coaching program. And I help women with one-on-one coaching with me. And many times we're doing all three because that's what it takes to really fast track getting to the other side of this. All right. So have a great day, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.